And so thank you, Justine and Delia, for being here with us today to discuss the Major and Minor Repair Program at INHS.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Everybody can see the PowerPoint, yes?
Yes.
Very
Okay.
pretty, Justina.
Yes, I can see it.
Yes.
Thanks. So as Leslie said, I am Justina Fetterly. I'm with INHS, and I have my colleague here, Delia. She's with the Home Ownership Department. So if you have any questions, one of us will be able to answer it as I go through the presentation. I'm going to start with just talking a little bit about INHS in general and who we are. We are a nonprofit organization that specializes obviously in affordable housing. We cover 7 counties throughout the southern tier and the Finger Lakes. And basically our underlying mission is to help people find, access, and stay in affordable housing, low income and moderate income households. And INHS actually was created almost 50 years ago, and in 1976. And our first mission was to rehab dilapidated houses in the north side. So we've come a long way since 1976. So now we have the minor repair program, the major repair program, which I'll talk about both of those. I'll touch upon our rentals as well very briefly. And then we also have our first-time home buyer program where we help people purchase their first home with down payment and closing cost assistance. And we have home buyer education courses. So really, we're very busy. But I am really excited to be here to talk about the minor repair program specifically because it's really our most important program. It's really the closest to our hearts because it's just a fantastic program. So essentially, we have the program that is free. We provide free labor and most times free materials as well, depending on funding. And we provide free repairs to homeowners that live in Tompkins County that are aged 60 or older, or those with disabilities of any age. So really, we focus on health and safety upgrades, repairs, and some of the repairs that this is not an all-encompassing list. So if you have any questions about specific repairs that you don't hear about, you can always ask us. But some of the repairs include fixing and replacing deteriorated steps, improving lighting, alleviating trip hazards, adding handrails and grab bars to make it safer for you to move about your home. We fix leaky faucets, replace broken windows. Really, there's just so many things that we do. And when we come to your house, we might not do just one thing. We can do more than one thing to make your home safer. And here you can see some of the before and after of this porch that we did. Obviously, this was not a usable back porch, so we replaced the entire porch with a safer porches and landing strip there. And then up here, you'll see we did the same, but also added a wheelchair ramp. And here, I'm just going to show you a couple of different things that we've done. We added handrails there to make it safer for this household to go in and out of their home. And then again, another back deck, obviously not a safe or usable back deck, but we did replace that. I will say that there is a wait list for this program at this point in time. With that being said, I would highly encourage you, if you have issues that you see that could arise in a few months, get on the list now. And then you never know what could come up between now and then that you could add to that list. So we really, we're just facing a large need of people that require some free repairs, plus we're short-staffed a little now, so we're trying to work through that. So if you know any handy people looking for a job, please send them our way. But again, I would encourage you to apply now as soon as possible, just to get on that list so you have peace of mind. And then, so this is Anne. I wanted to share a couple of stories. She is a previous minor repair program client. She had a few issues. that walkway that she's standing on, one of the boards broke and she fell through it, and she hurt her leg pretty badly. She also had, so we replaced that entire walkway. And then she had a breeze coming through her front door, which obviously made her home colder in the winter. So we replaced the door. So obviously helping with utility bill costs. And I believe we replaced a faucet in her sink that was leaking. And she was very, very happy to have her home feeling safer and less so, and not in disrepair, as she said here. And then we also have the major home repair program. So this is essentially what it sounds like. They're not minor repairs, they're large home repairs. So deferred maintenance, health and safety issues, code violations, structural defects, energy upgrades, well and septic issues. And then we also do new roofs, new siding, and then accessibility modifications, which I'll talk about more in depth in just a minute. But this program helps low to moderate income homeowners of any age, and they have to live in Tompkins County as well. So here you'll see we redid the siding and the roof on this home. So again, making those energy efficiency upgrades makes the home safer, and also your utility bills more manageable. And then we redid someone's kitchen on this photo as well. And then the accessibility modification program that we have. So we have funds right now that will help. Do you have to be age 60 or older, Delia, for this? Or is it anybody? Yes. 60
Yeah, we just need a doctor's note.
Okay.
And it's to say that, hey, this home modification is needed.
Right. So essentially this program, we're just trying to help with the cost and implementation of adapting your homes based on your needs. So that could be installing a wheelchair ramp. And we also install lifts as well, handrails, expanded doorways, stair glides. We can install roll-in showers with grab bars, bathtub grab bars and seats. We can also install non-skid flooring. We can relocate a bathroom or a bedroom to the first floor. We can also install appliances that respond to verbal commands. So really it's, again, not an all-encompassing list, but it gives you an idea as to some of the modifications we can help to make your homes safer, and so you can live in them longer and continue to be independent. And this is Kathy. She's also a previous home repair client. We installed a wheelchair ramp for her, and you can see she's touching in her bathroom a grab bar. We also installed a walk-in shower for her, and she obviously says here she feels so much more secure in her home. And really that's what we do. That's what our mission is to help people feel more comfortable and safer in their homes. And we also have rental properties. We own or manage nearly 600 units in Tompkins, Seneca, and Schuyler counties. We have 2 senior-only properties, Newfield Garden Apartments in Newfield, and then Verona Village in Ovid. That being said, many of our units are located in Ithaca and Tompkins County. And that's not to say that there isn't a large senior population in non-senior specific rentals, because there is a pretty large senior population. So if anyone's ever interested, again, Leslie, I said I'll share this information you can share with the community, but we also have that option for folks as well. And that's it. Delia, did you want to add anything that I missed, or does anybody have any questions?
Oh yeah, I can add a couple of things. In terms of the accessibility funding, we're close to have spent down the funding we have right now, but we can accommodate a a wide variety of needs related to a disability. So I remember once a couple years ago, we built a fence for a family who had an autistic kid, and the kid wouldn't stay in the yard, couldn't play outside safely. So it's not sort of only your basic roll-in shower or ramp, but it can be a pretty wide range of things. We also just received some funding that's only in the city of Ithaca. That's kind of exciting, that will allow us to help people who own low-income homeowners who own a 2-unit property and are looking for help with repairs on that secondary unit, or looking to convert like a larger home into a 2-unit home. So we're working with the funder. This is a new source of funding through New York State. Right now, we're not ready to move people forward, but we do have an application for that pending, and we're building a wait list. So if that sounds like something that you might need and you live in the city and own your home, definitely go to our website or give me a call. I can mail you out an application. Oh, look, there's my cell phone number right there on that screen. Yeah, that's my work cell. I pick that up if I'm not in a meeting, so you call me anytime. And I'll give you a call back. But yeah, that's new funding, so that's very exciting. Our funding for major repairs comes in cycles, so we help people as quickly as we can, and then we apply for new funding. There are moments where we don't have funding, but we take a lot of what should I say? We spend a lot of time trying to help folks identify other resources. If we can't help, our funding is mostly governmental, so it comes with all the restrictions, and sometimes there are things like you live in a flood zone and certain funding isn't available, whatever thing, then we try to come up with a plan B. And then finally, if we can't help, we try to come up with other resources that are available. So definitely worth putting in a pre-application for us, because we will get back to you. And then in terms of the minor repair program, I just wanted to mention that within the city of Ithaca, we can also offer snow removal in the winter time. That's a program we've been sort of building up over the last 2 years. So that's exciting. We've had huge positive feedback from folks on that. And I'm the closest to town, so if no one else can get into the office, I live like 2 miles outside of town. You can expect me to pop by with some paperwork and a shovel if you need snow shoveling. So another thing, you can fill out a pre-application for us and just say, I want to be on the snow call list, and then we will call you when it snows and try to come out and help. Can't always guarantee it, but I try my best. So yeah, that's not on the flyers for the minor repair service, because we can't do it throughout Tompkins County. We just don't have the capacity. Our vans don't get up the hills when it's really snowy, so we're kind of limited to where we can get to. What else is INHS doing? And right now we are applying for more funding for repairs. So yeah, it's just sort of as definitely what Justina said about getting on the wait list with whatever needs you have now. We will keep you on our wait list until we identify a funding source that can help, or if we know we won't have any in the future, then we'll give you a heads up and other places to go.
Hey, Joanne, you have a question?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. One is I've had work done by INHS, both major repair and minor. Thank you very much. And it did change my life quite a bit. But one of the things I'm wondering, at that time, it was quite a while ago, there were income limits, and there have been all kinds of changes, both in Social Security, et cetera. What are your income limits at this point?
Depends on the funding source. So We have some, I'm pulling them up right now, that where, and it also depends on your household size. So it's kind of hard for me to be like across the board. What I tell folks is just go ahead and pre-apply, and then we can kind of talk you through that. But I can give you just, oh, wait.
Do you have it, Delia, on hand? I think I have it right here.
Yeah.
Are you looking for 80 or 100?
Well, we have some that are, yeah, so for a single person, most of our funding would be capped at about 59,000 in income, but we do sometimes get funding that will go up to 74,000 for a single person, and then it goes up from there. So if you're a 2-person household, that would be 67 and 84. So basically, if we can find a source to help, we will help. Yeah. If you're way above the 79 and 84 for your household size, then probably not worth applying. But if you're somewhere around there and you want us to take a look at things, we'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, my second question is about the floodplains. My house is now in a floodplain. I'm surprised it wasn't in the past, but it is now. And I've actually been afraid to look up the insurance companies that the federal government has approved to do this, with some help, because I'm afraid to find out just how much it's going to be. I mean, I've heard estimates from, $2,000 to $4,000 a year for premiums. And I'm wondering how, how is this affecting what plans INHS might have for this problem? I was told, I went to the FEMA presentations at the high school.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I found it very surprising that the high school is not in the floodplain. It's like this little green island in the middle of everything else. I don't know where that's coming from. But they did tell me that there will also be not only funding, well, I guess it's funding, that if you go through one of the government approved insurance agencies, your premium will be raised gradually. So like the first year, let's say your premium was going to be $4,000. And the first year, it might be only 18% of that. The second year, it will be another 18 or whatever percent of that until you reach $4,000 a year. But the other program they talked about was raising the house, which I would never go through. And I can't even imagine it in my neighborhood, which is really swampland underneath. We have really high water tables. But are you going to be involved in anything like that, or even give just advice?
We definitely have been worrying about this.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you. We're definitely worried. Just to be clear, where we are in the FEMA process is they have proposed maps, but those have not been finalized. For the last 7 years, they've been telling me it will be another 12 months. At some point, that will be an accurate estimate, but I don't know. I think we're getting closer, right? Because of the FEMA thing. That's kind of what I'm hearing from folks who do flood insurance, is that remapping will become finalized. I know that the city of Ithaca is working on a plan to do some community-wide flood mitigation efforts, and that would be great, but that's not necessarily going to change the FEMA maps anytime soon once they're enacted. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean, best case scenario would be like, hey, that work got done and then FEMA re-looked at the maps before they finalized them. But I think it's going to be the other way. I think they're going to finalize a very expanded flood zone, and then maybe something would change in the future. But yeah, I don't have a solution for this. We talked to we've been talking to a number of people to try to figure out, like what happened in Owego. We're trying to, there are other communities who have gone through remapping. And so did they find anything that helped mitigate the pain of suddenly having flood insurance? To be clear, the flood insurance requirement is triggered by a federal mortgage. Or a mortgage rather. So if you happen to own your home without a mortgage, you will not be required to get flood insurance. That said, if there is a flood and you don't have flood insurance, then you're paying for that damage out of pocket. So there's a risk there, but there's also, flood insurance premiums are a lot. And I understand that for some people, there's a fear that this is going to make their house unaffordable. So yeah, no, we're thinking about it. We don't, like many problems with housing, have a magic wand that we can say this will take away this suffering, or or we can talk to FEMA and tell them to stop doing that. We don't have any of those powers, but we're definitely worrying about it and trying to think, are there any strategies that functionally would be helpful? When I talk to flood insurance expert about the idea of doing improvements to make flood insurance like much cheaper and less costly on an existing home. The first thing that people talk about is moving the mechanicals, so your heating system up out of the basement. That's costly, but it's like not that much. So if that was all that was required, I'd be like, well, let's find some money and do that. But when I was talking to her, she said the other problem is that they will require, if there's a basement, that the basement be filled, because what happens with a flood is that it causes like pressure on the foundation. So if there's a basement, the basement can collapse in the flooding, and that's something they're worried about. And so dealing with that, the actual basement structure itself is the thing that I don't know. She said there was a house in Cortland where they filled it all with rocks, but the fill was incredibly expensive. It was like $10,000 worth of rocks. And then I think, what if that actually filled with water? The mold ish, like, how do you get that water back out? You can't pump it out. I was like, oh, that doesn't sound like a clean solution, real solution to a problem. Maybe it would lower the insurance premium, but it also sounded like it could bring the homeowner their own problems. So yeah, there's work to be done on that. It's definitely something that we're tracking and worrying about. But I wish Joanna had a perfect solution.
Yeah, I actually asked the FEMA people about the flood mitigation, because I'd seen a presentation by Mr. Thorne about, trying to silt out the various creeks, etc. And the guy just looked at me, he said, there's no way that is going to solve the problems that we're facing right now. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry to have to give bad news, but that was his opinion. And he they were very helpful. The FEMA, if there's another one, I certainly recommend people go to these little presentations, because they were very helpful. Yeah. If sort of a doomsday attitude. But yeah, I was just wondering about that, because it just seems like it's going to be an enormous problem for everybody. I do have a mortgage. I'll have a mortgage until I'm 99. So that is an issue there. But
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I will send me an email so I have your last name, and then I'll just keep you in my brain as we're talking about this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now I have a quick question. Did Better Homes of, what was it called? Better Homes of Tompkins County, did they merge with Ithaca Neighborhood Housing Services?
Yeah,
Yes.
we affiliated.
2015. Sorry, Delia, go on.
We affiliated, so both organizations legally exist, but functionally, if you call, you're gonna call the same phone number and still talk to me or someone else, but repair questions, usually you'll talk to me.
Because one thing that they used to do is every now and then they'd have a course for anyone who wanted to participate on, so that they could learn how to do certain types of home maintenance themselves.
Yeah, so we have post-purchase classes. We have 4 of them annually. We have one taught by an attorney on wills and estates, and just an aside, because I learned this myself after 10 years at INHS. If you call COFA and tell them you need help with the will, they will refer you over for free assistance with that will. So COFA is the Tompkins County Office for the Aging. If you haven't done your will and you're over 60, you've got to work around. When I last talked to an attorney, it was like $1,500 or something to do it. So that's a little hack. That's one of our classes. Doesn't solve your repair needs. We do have a class on seasonal maintenance, on hiring contractors, and then another class on how to sell your home. And Justina can put in the link, or I can when I stop talking, because I can't do 2 things.
Well, I'm going to send all this
class
information, so I'll send it then.
Yeah, it might not be on our website now because they each, and DePetta is our homebuyer education consultant. She does one every season. So there's it might be, I think we do the maintenance class in the fall, if I recall correctly, but I don't remember.
You list these on your website?
Yeah,
We do. I think that the large repair one happened a couple of months ago, unfortunately. But we are having another wills and estates class, I believe in October or November. It's not on the website yet, but it will be, I hope, soon. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, it's not up there yet, but we will have another wills and estates class coming up.
Okay, thank you.
You ever do a course on how to be a contractor in repairing something?
how to like GC a job. Yeah, there's a class on hiring contractors that we
There
do
is. Oh.
teach. Yeah. And in terms of what Better Housing used to do, INHS, the combined staff is basically doing that work mostly, but there are little differences in what we can do, you know, over the years. So mostly unrelated to the affiliation and just related to what funding we have and what we're able to do. Any other burning questions?
Judith, any questions? I haven't heard from you. No? Any other questions, Rochelle or Joanne?
No, I don't have any more for me.
Well,
Thank you all.
thank you,
so much.
Justina, and thank you, Delia, for the time. I look forward to getting the PowerPoint from you. We'd love to share that with folks. And thanks for your attendance, Joanne, Rochelle, and Judith. So
Yeah.
good.
Thank you all. Take
Yeah,
care.
Thank you for having the session. We appreciate it.
Very
Yeah,
much so.
absolutely. We're
Feel
here
free
when
to
you
reach
call
out.
us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Awesome.